Hello, and welcome to my Engaging the Audience project by me, Bethany Winchester.
They're probably watching me. Well, let them. Let them see what kind of a person I am. I'm not even going to swat that fly. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see and they'll know. And they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
If you haven't already guessed it, the first medium I'm going to be evaluating is Alfred Hitchcock's 1960s classic film, Psycho. The film Psycho is known as a classic thriller with a huge twist. It's the first of its kind to not only show the antagonist as a murderer, but to also reveal why by explaining the inner workings of the antagonist's mind. Since this film, many others follow the example and dive into why the antagonist acts the way it does. Made in 1960, Psycho is still looked upon as one of the greatest suspense films to this day.
It's not as if she were a maniac, a raving thing. She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
The film Psycho follows the protagonist Marion Crane, a secretary who embezzles money from her employer and then flees to the Bates Motel before continuing her journey to luxury. At the motel, Marion encounters the strange owner and motel manager Norman Bates, who with his boyish charm is more than meets the eye. Norman confides in Marion his troubles with his mother, whom we heard arguing with Norman in a previous scene.
No, I won't have you bringing strange young girls in for supper.
Shut up! Shut up!
Marion suggests Norman should put his mother someplace, which immediately upsets Norman.
You mean an institution? A madhouse?
In a sequence of events, Marion gets killed by Mrs. Bates in the movie's famous shower scene, while the film's infamous score of screeching violins plays in the background. Following the shower scene, others come to look for Marion, but receive the same fate. Eventually, the police catch Mrs. Bates in the act, thus revealing the murderer was Norman Bates this whole time, dressed up as his mother. In the final police scene, the psychologist explains that Mrs. Bates has been dead for years, killed by Norman. Norman couldn't take the guilt of his crime, so he kept his mother's corpse. He pretended to be her and had conversations with himself to keep her alive. When reality came too close, when danger or desire threatened that illusion, he put on his mother's clothes, states the psychologist, thus explaining the why of Norman Bates' murderous acts. Paramount Pictures took the film on in 1960, but didn't have much confidence in Hitchcock because of their distaste with the content of the film. They thought the film would fail in box offices, so they gave Hitchcock a low budget, making it a B film. Hitchcock took the challenge and made the B film in black and white, and hired not well-known actors, another attribute Paramount didn't like. Hitchcock ended up shooting most of the film in Universal Studios' lot because of the quarrel with Paramount, and he took on the expenses of the production from his own pocket. Although the opening credits of the film still have the Paramount Pictures logo on it, Universal Studios bought the rights to the film. As for Paramount Pictures' claim that Psycho would fail in ticket sales, boy were they wrong. Hitchcock spent a lot of time advertising for this film. In newspaper ads, signs, radio announcements, Hitchcock said,
No one, but no one, will be admitted to the theater after the start of each performance of Psycho.
The reason behind this was Hitchcock wanted the audience to see the film in its entirety, from start to finish. A life-size cutout of Hitchcock stood outside every theater, holding up a sign of rules. A voice recording of Hitchcock swore the audience into secrecy, insisting,
I insist that you do not tell your friends the little, tiny, horrifying secrets of Psycho after you see it.
Part of this gimmick, Hitchcock also had men dressed in police uniforms standing outside the theaters to ensure that the rules were followed. The audience ate this up, and lines of people stretched from down the street and around the corner. As for the targeted audience, Hitchcock geared his film to late teens and young adult couples of equal gender. He considered the film to be a date movie. Hitchcock said males will love the gore and mystery of the film, while females will love the independent female lead and the romance in the film. The audience was a wide range of adult ages from all over, but who were mostly of the Caucasian race. Today, the film Psycho still has a heavy following, with universities studying Hitchcock's work. One of the main draws to the film Psycho is Hitchcock's heavy use of narrative devices, such as subtext and motifs. Part of the film being black and white, Hitchcock was able to add a lot of symbolism to the screen. There are fan pages and sites devoted to the Hitchcock film Psycho, and people can tour the Psycho house and motel at Universal Studios.
Okay, he hasn't seen us yet, so I'm sure we're... Okay, I don't think he wants us here. Oh, okay. He's coming. Dave, we should head on up the hill here, or maybe now would be good.
As for the fan base today, it seems to remain pretty much the same, with the exception of age. Looking at Twitter feeds and social media commentary, and conducting a survey of my own, it seems that the Psycho following still has its original fans from the beginning and has gained some new ones, with the youngest ages being in the 20s. Young adults and late teens have heard of the film and are familiar with the Psycho screeching violin theme song, but not many of them have seen the actual film itself. Entertainment Weekly rated Psycho as the 5th greatest film of all time, making it a classic. After Hitchcock's death, sequels of the film Psycho were made along with a remake, but none were successful until A&E aired its new show Bates Motel in 2013.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her 2 lips like roses and clover, and tell her that her lonesome nights are over.
You're a good boy, Norman.
Bates Motel is the prequel of the famous movie Psycho. The show centers on the high school teenager Norman Bates, who moved to White Pine Bay, Oregon with his mother Norma Bates after his father's accidental death. Norma bought a motel that went bankrupt in town and has turned it into her own Bates Motel. Yet since moving to White Pine Bay and requiring the hotel, there has been nothing but a headache of awful events for Norma and her son, from death threats to rape, murder, hiding bodies, murder again, and of course Norman's blossoming insanity. There's never a dull moment on the show. The series follows Norman's every twist and turn in life, with the ending's major dramatic question being, why, when, and how will Norman turn into the psychopath we all know and love from Alfred Hitchcock's 1960s film, Psycho? Carlton Cuse and Carrie Aaron are the executive producers and writers of A&E's new drama, Bates Motel. On a red carpet interview for the Poly Center for Media, Carlton Cuse stated why they came up with the idea for the show.
I think that, it was just one of the great mysteries of cinema is like, who is Norma Bates? Who was this amazing woman and what was her relationship like, raising this kid who was going to grow up to become this crazy serial killer? How did that happen?
One of the unique attributes to the new show is that it takes place in modern day times instead of further back in the day when Psycho was filmed. However, the creators still kept the old-fashioned feel of the movie by using the same rustic old town setting, the old house and motel, old cars, and the old style of the way that Norman and Norma dress. The audience doesn't know it's in the modern times until we see Norman sitting at the bus stop with headphones in his ears in the pilot episode.
You're new. When did you move here?
Last night.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, just me and my mom.
The producers stated that the reason behind having Bates Motel in modern times is that they didn't want to be too tethered to the movie.
We didn't want to find ourselves, basically beholden to the movie. We wanted to have our story be our story. People can watch the original movie. We're not going to do better than Alfred Hitchcock. It's fantastic. So we just wanted to use these characters as a way to tell something that was brand new and original.
The show is so original that it is nothing like the original film other than Norma and Norman intimately living with each other on the Bates Motel property. Some differences in the movie and the TV series is that Psycho takes place in the 50s, while Bates Motel takes place in modern times. Psycho is filmed in black and white, and Bates Motel is filmed in color. Psycho had a low budget for the film and hired not well-known actors, while the Bates Motel had a higher budget with well-known actors acting in the show. To make the show even more original, Coos and Aaron added a third element to the duo iconic relationship, Norman's older half-brother Dylan, which you could see on the sidelines to Norma and Norman in the picture to the right. Coos said it was a great opportunity to have a window on Norma's and Norman's relationship through this third party, who was another family member. By definition, Dylan would be on the outside of the Norman-Norma relationship, and that triangle relationship would create a lot of intrigue and tension.
Hey, Mom.
Why are you here?
I am trying to build a life here. You are not going to be screwing this up.
The trio has created so much tension on the show that Bates Motel is ranked very high in ratings. The pilot episode of Season 1 aired May 18, 2013. According to TV by the Numbers, Bates Motel had 4.5 million viewers tuned in that night, making the show A&E's highest rated drama in the key demographic ages of 25 to 52 and 18 to 49. Entertainment Weekly announced that Bates Motel's second season increased its ratings to 4.6 million viewers, according to the numbers from the network. Bates Motel is now on its third season, and the audience anxiously awaits to see what will happen next on the show. A&E's slogan is Be Original, and that is certainly what Bates Motel is. According to New York Interconnect, A&E's audience in the New York DMA is upscale, with 60.2% owning their own home. They have a median household income of $80,197, and 29.7% of them have 4+ years of college. A&E's demographic as a whole is 48% male and 52% female. 53% are between the ages of 25 to 54, and 52% are between the ages of 18 to 49. A&E's network demographic falls into the same demographic as Bates Motel. Looking at fan pages, Twitter feeds, and conducting a survey of my own, Bates Motel's audience is surprisingly equal in gender, with females having a slightly heavier following. The Hollywood Reporter claims that 18 to 49 age demographic for the show has increased 15% since the first season has aired, making it the targeted audience. The producers of Bates Motel definitely targeted to the younger audience. Going on to the Bates Motel's webpage, Twitter feeds of young adult audiences, mainly in the female gender, flood the website, commenting on the week's episodes. Viewers can go on to the character of Emma's blog page and interact with her posts, integrating themselves into the show. Viewers can also go on to a virtual tour of the Bates Motel property. They can go all the way up to the Bates Motel house and see where Norman and Norma live. I can walk around right now and view the motel and the office and have a look around there. The interactive website virtual tour allows audience members to feel like they are in the world of the Bates Motel. They can explore the rooms and look for clues to see what is going on in the episodes. Here is a pile of dirt and a shovel. Viewers can also click on the TVs in the motel rooms that hold memories of previous guests that have stayed in the rooms. This particular TV holds the memory of when Norman's older brother Dylan moved back home to live with him and Norma in the Bates Motel property. In an A&E interview, the producer Carlton Coos stated that although they have some Psycho fans tuning into the show, not all of their audience has seen the film, and they're okay with that. The producers kept some of the same nuances of the original film with visual and audio motifs to keep the Psycho fanbase happy, but they add their own touch to the story as well. The hit show Bates Motel airs Mondays at 9 on A&E. Thank you for tuning into my presentation, and have a great day.